Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd give you a little update on this solar stuff I've been messing with, so here we go.
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode.
Alright guys, last time I talked to you, I told you I didn't know what I was going to do with the solar stuff, so I'm going to give you a little update on what I've done so far, which is not very much. Still in the process of trying to decide what I want to do with my solar. Anyways, let's just get right into it. So let me turn you around here. Alright, so here's my solar setup. It's not a very big setup, just it's a little 48 volt system. I got 12 panels out back. I'm doing about 2,500 watts. Right now there's not very much sun outside. I'm not getting a whole lot of solar in. 113.8 watts, something like that. I don't have a load on it, only the inverter. It's pulling, 20 to 30 watts. Pretty much that's it. But the problem that I've been having is the batteries. I had these two Power Queen batteries, and they've done good for a long time on 24 volt. And I added these two Time USB batteries, which have been great since I got them. But anyways, putting them all four together in a, let me back you up a little bit. There we go. Putting them all four together in a 48 volt system has caused some issues for me that I'm not used to having. Usually the batteries stay pretty balanced, but they don't seem to want to be tied right together. I don't really know why. So I bought this thing right here, this battery equalizer. Let's see if I can get it to focus on it. There we go. And they're pretty close and doing better than they was, and I'm hoping in days to come they may level out a little better. But the problem that I was having was the two Power Queens. This Power Queen was staying way lower in voltage than any of the other batteries, and this Power Queen was reading way too much in voltage. Like it was reading 17 volts at times, and this one would read 12 volts, even down to 10 volts I think at one time. These pretty much stay the same. Since I bought the equalizer, they're doing quite a bit better, even better than they were this morning when I was out here. They're pretty close. These three batteries are pretty close. This one is still a little high, but nowhere near 17 volts anymore. And I don't understand why it was getting up to 17 volts. But anyways, that's kind of what I have done. I've just left the system completely off until I got this equalizer in. Put the equalizer on it and cut the solar on, and I thought, well, maybe I just need to cut the solar off. So I cut everything back off and left the equalizer on it all day yesterday. And when I got home this morning, I come out here and cut it all back on. And like I say, it's the one is reading a little bit more than the rest, but not terribly bad. Actually, I think that's doable, but we'll see how it does when we get a good sunny day and we get more solar in. Okay, so to update you on what I have decided that I would like to do, I'm good with a 48 volt system, and I like the dual phase, 110, 220. This is a great inverter. It just doesn't have all the things that I would like for it to have. I have to really pay attention to what I'm using in the house and pay attention to how much power I got and swap it back over to grid power. And I don't like that as much as I did like the Power Mister that I had. It had a built-in charger in it where you could plug it into grid power out here, and I have grid power in this building. I could plug it in out here, and if the batteries got low, it would charge the batteries and keep the solar going, keep whatever I had running in the house running. This inverter doesn't do that. This is the WZRELB reliable inverter. Now, like I say, it's been a great inverter. It's held up good so far. I haven't had any issues with power failure or anything like that. I tell you one issue I have been having, and I think it's actually something to do with the Victron's side or something, but this keeps cutting on and off, like it'll lose service and then come back, and that gets its knowledge through Wi-Fi, so online. So I did say something earlier that said they were having an issue with one of their servers or something, so maybe that's what the problem is on that. But anyways, to get back to what I was saying, I've been looking at the EG4 6000 XP. It seems to have all the things that I'd like to have in an inverter, except for the price point. Is for me, for a country boy, that's a lot of money. You're looking, I think the best deal I have found is about $1,550 on it, and which is better than some deals, but I mean, I'm talking like after shipping and everything, $1,550, and I think that was Sun Guy Solar or something like that. And they're a reputable company, so that's a good place to get it from. And actually, just by getting on their website and looking, they called me and talked to me about it, and sent me the owner's manual so I could look through it and see if it was something that I was interested in. And definitely, I think it's the inverter that I'd like to go with in due time, with time and money as it comes. I think that will solve some of my issues. And another thing that I'm considering is the batteries. These are okay, but I would rather just go with one battery that's 48 volts, and I'm considering server rack batteries. Now, there again, we're talking about money thing. So I've looked at the EG4 server rack batteries. They're just like totally, in my opinion, overpriced for what they are. You're looking at $1,800, $2,000 a battery. I don't want to put that kind of money in batteries when I can buy a server rack battery for somewhere around $750, $800, $850. I can get two for the price of one if I look at it that way. Now, I understand that I'm not going with the EG4 brand, and keeping brand stuff together, like the Victron likes to work with Victron stuff, the EG4 likes to work with EG4 stuff. I understand that it may not work as good together, but I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube, and it's I think that's not as big a deal as they make it out to be. I think you can use different brand batteries. I really like the Vatra batteries, VATRER. I reached out to that company to see if they'd be interested in working with me on my solar, and they just didn't feel my channel was big enough, and I get that. We're a growing channel, so I won't be going with that battery, I don't think. So I've looked around, and probably I'd like to have a reputable brand of battery. And right now, the cheapest thing is the eco-worthy, however you say that word. You can get those batteries around $800 a piece. And I've watched several videos on those, and people taking them apart and looking at them, and they seem to have a good build quality. So, in due time, in the future, as money comes available, that is my goal, to upgrade to something like that, and maybe add 6 more of the eco-worthy panels, and get it where it's a usable system that I can actually turn it on and let it work for me and save me some money on my electricity bill. So, yeah, I'll keep this short. I just wanted to give it a little update, because I know it's been a couple weeks since I talked about the solar, so I just thought I would let you know what's in my mind, what I've been thinking. One more thing I want to address, the Victron stuff is the servo that I got, and the Victron shunt that I got, and the controller, the charge controller. They've been excellent. That Victron is, they really make a good product, I feel like. The thing that I don't like about it is there's no way to hook up a different brand of inverter where that I can read what's going on, through this. And I think that that's kind of dumb. Like I'd like to be able to see what the inverter was putting out in AC loads. And I know the only fix to that is to buy a Victron inverter. And I'm just, I don't know, I'm not a fan. The things that I've looked at, I'm not saying they're bad. They're great inverters. It seems, from what I've watched. But they don't do what I want them to do. Like, I want to have a way to get the backup power from shore power. Like a generator or grid or whatever. I want that built in my inverter. Like, I like the all-in-one inverters. Just in my experience with them, the all-in-one inverters are better for somebody who can't afford to just fully go solar and have, 300 batteries or whatever you got to have, or 100 solar panels out there to completely power all your needs. If you got the all-in-one, it will substitute power from the grid when you need it to. And that is something that I like. And like I said, the EG4 6000 seems to be along the same lines of the Power Mister, or POWMR, however you say that I had. It did all those things. That's why I like, that's what got me wanting those things, is because I've already had an inverter that did that. So anyways, I'll just end the video here. Please like and subscribe and help me support my channel. I'm trying to get it to grow. Me and Shannon are doing some exciting things here on the Homestead. So, check us out on the Overlook Valley Homestead channel, on our other channel. And, I appreciate you. If you got any knowledge about this stuff and you want to share, feel free to down in the comments. I'm learning, and I guess there's people out there who really, really know their stuff. I'm not one of them, but I'm learning, and it's a slow process, I guess. It costs money to learn if you don't know. I will tell you that, because I have bought some products that I did not need, and I can put them back on the internet and sell them, but people don't want to buy something that somebody else has done, opened up. They want it brand new, and I don't blame them for that. So you end up losing money one way or the other. I did buy a couple used things, and I'll tell you about that. Let me get this box here. All right, this thing right here. I think I talked about this in my last video, but I bought this used off the internet, gave $50 for it. I think you can buy a brand new one for about 70. When I got it all hooked up, it got hot. It wouldn't act right. It wouldn't show anything on the LEDs. So I messaged the person back. They give my money back and told me to throw it in garbage. So what I did is got online, and against my better judgment, I bought another of the same thing, used, from another person. Another $50. I got $100 in that. Well, not really, because they gave my money back. But anyways, I still saved $20 on it, I guess, maybe. But next time, I would just buy a new. And that's what I mean about just buying new stuff and not open box stuff. But the first person, they didn't have a problem with giving my money back. Apparently they didn't test it or whatever. They just assumed that it worked. And it would, as soon as you hook the first battery up, it would power up just for a second and then go out. This one powered up as soon as I hooked it up, and stayed, and has been powered up for 2 days now. So it's really working good. You know, and like I say, I feel like it's working with the batteries because they're getting pretty close in voltage. So, anyways, I'm just rambling. But my ideal is to end up with the EG4 and maybe a couple of server rack batteries and start there and start to build my system a little better. But as for now, this is what I got. So this is what I'll use, and I'll keep messing with it and seeing what I can learn about it and watching more videos about it and putting out videos where people can see that I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to learn. But anyways, thank y'all for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and God bless you, and we'll see you in the next video.